So I'm a little stopped up today. Uh, hopefully not sick, but I wanted to share with you guys my first track that I kind of completed. One thing about hardware for me is I treat it more like an instrument. And what I mean by that is, like, if I had a guitar, I'm going to play the guitar, but I would record it in and then finish it out in a DAW. So that's kind of what I mean by, like, it's a start. Every piece of hardware, even an iPad, for me is more of a starter to a song, and then I finish everything in Ableton, right? This thing works extremely well with tracking out songs. You can stem out stuff. As you can see here, you got an export option. All these features are there. You can also obviously save your projects. And I'm not going to talk about the games too much because some of them work really well, but the sound in them that I've experienced so far was terrible. So I don't know why it's all distorted. I don't know if that's a thing inside of here that I have to change, but all the games sound really distorted, or they just didn't work. The ones that I tried. The ones that are in here work well, but I'm talking about like trying to add games other than that. All right, so I'm going to leave that alone. That is one of the features that I like, but I could live without. The only game I really want in here would be Tetris if I got one. But anyway, let's go back to this project. So here it is, the first one that I did. Let's turn that off. I'll just go over what I did before I play it. So inside of here, there are some instruments that you can look at. There they are. I use the perk. The other instruments are nice, but they sound very, I don't want to say chiptune, but like very, they're really synthy, like FM type synthy sounding to me. And that's okay if you want that, but that doesn't appeal to me right now personally. But so I just used them for the drums, and then you can see right here I did 128, which is actually, if I'm not mistaken, at this BPM that I'm at, which is 78 BPM, I think it's like 8 bars. Because when I recorded it in, it could be 4 bars, but I can't remember now which one it was when I recorded it in. But anyway, I'll play it for you in just a second. So I did the hats, the kicks, the snares. Now, something I don't like that this thing does is when you send out a synth. First of all, if you look, let me show you this right here. You can only have 3 synths total, right? That's the internal synth, that is. Okay. At least that's what it shows. So you could put each one, you could put 3 different synths in there and then work with that. But see, this is the thing. If you put one synth, let's say you just have this perk synth on synth 1, then everything, you see how it says S1 right there, S2, that's synth 1, synth 2. Everything, when you export out, will be put together. So even though they're on separate MIDI tracks, they don't export and explode these 3 MIDI tracks. They literally mesh them together from one audio track. I don't really care for that. I'd rather have, if I separate the drums, there's a reason why I want them separated. I know the MPC will explode them properly. So not that this is an MPC by any means, but that's something I wish they would fix and change. Probably won't happen, but just something I wish. All right, so I did those there. And then I did the chords, which is really me playing chords in and then sampling that and chopping it up and playing it back. And then the bass, I did it here with a 1-shot. And then I took a loop and chopped it up and made some texture percussion type stuff, okay? So let's go ahead and listen to it. Why not? Easy to mute. You hit shift, all your mutes are right here. except for they only show you up to 8 mutes at a time. So but they're so easy to go in and out. It's really fun to perform with. I can see why people would do this. There is a performance tab up here too. I don't fully understand how to use it yet, I'll be honest, but I guess you could switch patterns or something. I haven't learned that yet. Then of course you got a song mode where you can do that. So I really dig it so far. I think it's incredible. I'm sure I could explore more and get even better, but this is just for the first song, and it's only been less than, well, almost going on a day now that I've had it, so not even that long. And it's pretty amazing. Tracking out is super easy in here. I actually did my tracking out just straight from here to the DAW. You don't have to unplug the SD card. You could just leave it in there. It, opens up quite well on the desktop if you need to pull stuff off or on. So that's super easy. Also, the iPhone that I'm recording this video with powers this device. And you can use AUM and track out beats into AUM if you wanted to. You have to have the right tools to do it, but you can still do it technically. So, or if you have Logic on the iPad, you could definitely do that. You just plug it in, track all your beats in Logic, and then finish out the tracking there. But if you really want to get savvy, if you can learn the machine well enough, you can build a bunch of patterns here and then just have them triggering. Maybe build an intro pattern. And I love this thing for another reason, because everything is, you can name everything, which is kind of cool. So let's say you go here. See how you can name the pattern in the track? So you could have your verse, your hook, and just create these different patterns and then just put them in the song mode, and there they are. So it's really good. I mean, it's not cheap, not super expensive, but it's got a lot of the features I wish SP had, aka a screen that's bigger and something and easier to use. And this isn't touchscreen, so imagine if they someday down the road, they won't do it with this machine, but let's say somewhere down the road they added like a touchscreen to this. Oh, it'd be so fast. The one I wish they did was the Tracker Mini. I wish they would have added a touchscreen to that one, because there's a lot of button combos you got to learn. And I would have been drawn to it a little bit more had they had a touchscreen to make it a little bit easier. Not touchscreen like here. I don't want to be touching notes in. That's crazy. But like on the Tracker Mini, you have to hit, I think, the menu button and then go to the next screen button. It's like, imagine if I hit the shift and I had to find the button up here, but it was on the screen. So I don't know. I was just thinking that might make it a little bit quicker. Once again, if you're still watching, then you know I'm already dealing with some congestion and sickness, but I don't know what it is. I don't really feel sick, but just congestion. Anyway, yeah, fun device, man. I can't say, the only thing I would say is early on setting it up took a little bit just because of the SD card situation where they want FAT32 and I don't have all the stuff. So there is a little work stuff with that. But if you're just using their internal 16 gig card, you won't have no issues. I was trying to use a 128 gig card because I wanted to be able to bring over all my drum samples, which I did. So you can definitely see here, you can bring it, like here's BJam drums, right? So I just enter it up and there's all my drums, the ones that I use the most. So I had like 70 gigs worth of drums and stuff, but I wasn't bringing all that over here because then I fill up a 128 gig card like nothing. But sometimes you want that because you want different sounds to explore, but these are the ones I kind of live by. Everything else is just a little added bonus here or there. And then I rather sample, kind of like what I do with the SP. I like to sample in the stuff. So they have a sample recorder. If you don't know, they have a radio. I'm not going to stay on it just in case something comes in and might get copyright. But they do have a radio for there. You can record in through the line or the mics that are on the back. And that works really well. There's a sample editor with time stretch. Of course, that's a playback thing. And then, of course, loading samples. You need to load your instruments in that you're going to use. So, but you can see I'm not putting a lot in. I'm just putting in what I need just to work through the sample. I do like the perk synth in here. It's really nice. It's fun. And the sounds aren't bad. As you heard the sound in here, I just used a kit called the OG kit from there. And I like the way it sounds. It sounds really good. Of course, I'm going to be using my other sounds as time goes on. But for right now, this is a good start. This thing can also be a good controller too. If you want to use it like an Ableton and you want to do your sequence in there, you could use it really nicely with that. I'm not so worried about that right now. I prefer to just learn the machine, and then as time goes, I'll work on the rest of that. So one of the things also that's cool with, one of the disappointments that I think they're going to work on and fix is they don't have audio. You can listen to audio come in, but you can't really record like audio through the USB-C, but you can record out. So it's kind of weird. Even though it says audio input and output, it doesn't record into the through the USB-C. My stomach's growling like I didn't just eat, but anyway, I'm on the latest firmware for sure. Oh, so here, the MIDI. So let me fix this actually too. So the MIDI transport you could control it with the with like Ableton if you want. So watch this. Let's go here. See, you can use the USB. So if you have a USB hooked to a phone or something like that, let's say you're in AUM and you're using it, you can have AUM control the thing. I'm gonna leave it on internal control, and I'm gonna turn that off because I have to remember to turn that off. I keep forgetting to do it. And the CC, we'll just turn that off. Now I set middle C as C3, but for some reason I feel like this device wants C5 as middle C, which is kind of weird. I could be wrong on that though too. I am still new using this, so bear with me as I talk about it and stuff that I maybe have something wrong here or there. You have to do a lot of reading to really get the little deeper dive type stuff. There's some good videos too. By the way, if you're interested in this, look at Polyend's videos or whatever online. They have some good videos and stuff that help to kind of get a basic understanding of what's going on. There's a lot of more menus, which is good, and they're easy to access just by clicking. You also see, let me do this. Like this synth here has 2 parameters pages with macros that are attached that allow you to create and shape sounds. So you could, I'm not going to do it on this one, but I'm just showing that just double tapping. If you look at the top, there's pages. So you can see which page. It's really easy to understand. I have to say it's probably the easiest I've used on a device. It's definitely, I'm going to put it like this. It's easier than the SP, except for the SP. Once you get it, then it's easy to me. You know what I'm saying? It's like one of those things, like once you understand how to use it, sure. But I think out the gate, this is easier. Every dedicated button is clearly outlined for you. If you see a button with 2 words like this, home, and then insert in the corners, that means there's a shift function. And shift home will take you back to the top. Little stuff like that you have to learn, like shift up highlights the whole track there, right? And then you can shift up, or shift home rather, hold on. Shift home. But you could also shift up and then shift over and highlight multiples. So it works pretty easy. I mean, using the arrows and the shift with these little buttons here, the most, of course, record, play, has a great metronome. The metronome sounds really good in this thing. Like the SP metronome, I don't really, it's okay. But this metronome is really nice. And the metronome in Ableton annoys me a little bit too. Partly because it's so dang loud, you got to turn it down. But outside of that, this thing is amazing. If you like randomization too, I mean, there's all these fill options that you can do. So a lot of randomization, a lot of easy ways to come up with ideas and songs and etc. etc. Yeah, so that's all I have for this one. I just wanted to show you guys what. Now here's some. Oh, let me show you one more thing that you should know. It's a little quirky because it's not the way I think normally on most stuff. But let's say you want to delete something. So let's just say you put in a note, right? You're like, oh, I don't like that note. You have to leave record on to delete. So if I turn that off and I hit delete, it does nothing. If it's on, then you hit delete, it will delete. So you have to learn that. That's a little quirky. A lot of stuff is record, then do it, right? Versus like usually you would just be like, well, I just want to delete it. It doesn't matter if it's recording or not. I'm just going to hit delete and it's gone. But yeah, they have it set that way. That could be beneficial too, because you could accidentally hit delete or backspace and forget if you weren't in record, if you were trying to do like a backspace. But see, you got to shift backspace to do it anyway, so I don't get that, but whatever. So little stuff like that you got to get used to. The other thing that was a little weird is, let's say I chop a sample up. We'll go instrument. Let's go to food ice. The random naming on this thing is fun too, I have to say. All right, so you look at it, you're like, well, where's the sample? Not that one little light, but where's the sample at? It's there. If you hit record, you see where they're at. If you don't hit record, you can't see them. So that's kind of weird. I wish they would, if I'm on that instrument, just put the samples across it so I can know that I'm there. Because once you get past that one right there, it's the same last sample that you hit. So it's not playing anything new. So when you go to record, you can see it's just these 8 samples here that I'm using. Just wanted to show you that. All right, so those are little things that kind of quirky but annoyed me. What else do you want to know, or would you want to know? You have 2 effects, but you have a ton of effects. When I say 2, you can only have 2 per note. And when I say 2 per note, I literally mean you could put 2 of these on per note. So the one thing I know it's in here, I got to learn it though, is where, like, if I want globally something on an effect, I know you could go to your master and you have, like, you know, your limiter, reverb, delay, EQ, stuff like that. And there's 3 pages to this, by the way. So you hit the page over, here's your mixer to, you know, drop your levels down. And then you have the levels for your synths, your delay, your reverb, your dry mix, and even the line in is there if you have something plugged in. So those are the 3 pages in the mixer. Really, really easy and intuitive. This is super intuitive. All these buttons represent what's down here below, so it's super easy to figure out. I say easy a lot in this video, but at first I was nervous about a tractor because I tried one on the computer and it was way harder on the computer to get used to than it is in here. And I found it really easy too. Like, I was more worried about, like, how I'm not a type in my notes type person, which is usually what you think about the tracker, but this thing is easy to play on. So if I hit record, hold on, let me start that over. It's usually a count in that you hear, but I don't hear the count in. So let me get back into here and get the metronome right here. It's there, but for some reason I didn't hear it. That's weird. All right, so that was a little weird. I guess I'm not the only one not hearing the count in. Yeah, I'm not sure why that's doing that. Maybe do I have an instrument select? Yeah, I do have one. Well, that's a little weird, but I'm sure it'll work itself because I haven't had that problem yet. That was the first time I've seen where the metronome didn't actually turn on. So that's it for this video. If you got any questions, let me know. I do know that I talked to one of the guys that is like a beta for the tester for them, and he said they are coming out with another update that's going to fix some of the issues that I was having, which were mine. He even told me about the issues too, which on the Discord. So don't even sweat it. Like if you get one and you say, "Oh, it's messed up here," apparently they really are good with updating, according to a lot of different sources that they do update their stuff pretty well. So that's it for this video. This is just my journey along with the tracker. It's a little long, I know, but if you want to get into it and you're a beginner, I'm a beginner. I had never used this thing before ever since yesterday. Watch some videos, but I can help you along the way as people are helping me, okay? That's what we do. All right, I'm out.